Coffee. He made me wait for probably an hour, sir. In 100 days, let's plan to launch a company.
Hey, here is a company that really can make that happen.
Generating code is good, but somebody has to configure, make things work in production and scale in production.
I'm a farmer son. I don't have any educational background on that time.
Hey folks, thank you for tuning in. We are super excited to bring our inaugural session of this podcast series. We want to make sure that we stay connected with you, learn from what is happening in the ecosystem, but also come and share with you how we are shaping up as a company. SeedlingLabs is here and we have completed 6 months. And I thought it is a great time for us to come in front of all of you and share how the journey has been, what we have been excited about, what we have been anxious about, and what we are working on right now. But we also promise to bring a lot of leaders from the tech ecosystem in front of all of you, and you will see them come here in this particular podcast series and talk to all of you. But today it is all about SeedlingLabs because we want to start this particular podcast series going in depth with the founders of SeedlingLabs. And I'm super excited to have with me today the founders who have started this particular AI vision, and that has become a company in itself. And we are actually really excited the way things are progressing. But you'll hear more about that from Shanti, who is the CEO and the co-founder of SeedlingLabs, as well as Suribabu sir, who is the co-founder and has been in this particular journey from the day one with all of us. So with that, let me now shift gears and talk to Shanti. SeedlingLabs is in conversation today. But before we talk about it, I want to go back into, I don't know when it was in this particular, phase that you came with this idea saying, hey, I want to start something new. You were in a very different scenario this time last year in a very, I would say, amazing position in a great company. And from there to leave that and then come all by yourself and start this journey, of course, along with Suribabu sir. How did that happen? When did that idea became so gripping that you said, hey, I need to take that leap of faith and I need to jump in? So what was that Eureka moment? And can you just talk about, what was happening in your mind and what really led to that particular idea, before we start?
Thank you, Anshuman. So, of course, this journey, the birth to this idea happened early last year while I was working as a director at Intuit. Coming with 20 years of experience, I think we probably started our careers at the same time. And I have seen the way things have evolved, right? Be the internet era, the way the technology has evolved. But this has been a different game in terms of AI evolution, like being part of large organizations with the AI evolution that's happening. What I have seen is it's again probably bigger than internet era. And there are so many diverse thoughts around, what AI can do, what AI cannot do, and so on. But running a large org and, looking at how AI can help the teams to be more efficient, and that's where being in the product development space, we've looked at teams picking up right tools to bring that kind of efficiency. All that is great. Tools are definitely bringing efficiency, no doubt about it, right? Especially for some of the redundant things. Today, nobody's generating the code. So with that kind of thought process of how do we bring efficiency, and looking at real impact. For example, people were able to generate code, but when it comes to actually making things work in production, it was, again, the same engineers, the way we worked in the last few years. That's the game, right? So when we look at actual impact, it was not there, honestly. But we were talking about AI doing everything. So my worry was there is a significant gap and an opportunity in terms of AI claiming to do everything. It's actually showing those results at a prototype POC level. Generating code is good, but somebody has to configure, make things work in production and scale in production. It was not there. So with that opportunity at hand, definitely there was always a bug in me to start something on my own. Right from being a foodie, right from starting a restaurant, to doing an AI startup, it's been a journey altogether, right? So with that thought process in mind,
I didn't know about that restaurant thing.
oh man, come on. I would definitely do it. At some point in my journey, I would definitely do a restaurant. And I hope that happens soon. So that'll be very exciting. But with that opportunity at hand, I didn't know if I have to jump in, do a startup to solve this, but I know there's significant gap in opportunity. With so much of thought leadership talking from this edge to the other edge of making things happen, not happen. I went for a wedding in North Karnataka side where my co-founder Suribabu sir comes from, and I happened to meet him over a coffee after the wedding. He made me wait for probably an hour, sir. That was the first time I was meeting him, and he was like, he had gone for another place, and we waited for an hour at his house. We were just talking. He has a beautiful house, by the way, in a half-acre land with a lot of greenery. It's I know I'm probably going all over, but would
I
love
think we
to
know
share
where
this.
the next podcast could be, right?
I know, right? So this, I don't know what we call it, and it's like in Kerala you see it very commonly, and in actual Godavari side of Andhra Pradesh, where Sir comes from. But he's born and brought up in Karnataka. But his house actually has, when rain falls, he doesn't have to go out. The rain actually falls in his house. There's an outlet. It's called Manduva Illu in Telugu. That's my mother tongue. So I was enjoying his house. He comes after 1 hour. And then after that, I can see the passion in his face talking about, when I shared about my journey and we were just introducing and talking. And he started talking about his schools, how he started, and the culture that he has built. And he's like, you know what? I talk to many industry leaders who come here, and there's significant opportunity to build talent grounds up from here, and why it is important for somebody to look at holistic education, which is, we call this as Nursery to Naukri, which is also fundamental foundation for SeedlingLabs today, to look at global centers outside Bangalore, is his vision. So that's how the conversation started, and I come back thinking about Nursery to Naukri. Of course, it sounds so good, but there are a lot of questions in my mind. How do we build talent there? How do we actually make this opportunity that I was thinking always, and then Sir's vision? How do we bridge this? I come back, get back to my job. 2 weeks down the line, then I call him. I said, you know what, sir, I think there is something huge and we need to talk about it. And to my surprise, sir just travels in 2 days of my call. He comes to Bangalore. We start talking about, how do we do it? I still remember the photograph. I have that photo of, whiteboarding. Okay, let's set up the company, right? Like I'm being just an engineering leader, not done any, entrepreneurship or understands business, how to set up the company. But taking that leap of faith, coming out of that comfort of just going to an office where an ecosystem is built and you can, run things in a very comfortable way, to shifting gears and say, okay, I'm going to build the company, right? Sir was like, let's go do it. And our just single line of statement was, in 100 days, let's plan to launch a company. We didn't know the name of the company, by the way, at that point of time.
What were some of the names that you were tinkering with?
You know what? Very, very funny journey. So me and Sir met in peak summer. I still remember he actually took me to his international school. He's built a 3 lakh square foot international school. He was just opening that academic year in like another month. We were talking in April and he opened it in June. So he took me and we had a tour of his schools and international school that's just going to open up. It's a huge one. I have to literally look like this, right? So then, all of that looking at, we've decided that, okay, Sir said, I'm going to give you a place here if you set up a company, wow. Right? So when we were thinking about the names of the company, we were like, we are showing a way to do a reverse migration from Bangalore. And we believe that even if 1% of the talent believes in going back to roots and working from there, And of course, Sir's vision also was like, there are so many farmer families and the kids are just out of Bangalore because they have obviously no options to minimal options to work from there, especially if you're an engineer or, in some of these technical fields. So they have to come to either Bangalore or any other metro to make their career, right? So that's where the conversation was like, I started with Marga Techs. Okay, you're showing way to somebody to go there, right?
Wow.
I was like, okay, Marga Tech. And then we've looked at, I wanted something cool. And then I was like, okay, me and Sir met in summer. We were walking around his school where we were talking about this whole thing. They're like, summer walks is so cool, so we should call it summer walks.
Wow.
Right? Like that, we had permutation and combination of how we should. Then at some point, we started thinking about it should be, there should be AI in this, and it's truly a lab that we have built here where we are experimenting, building our workbench to really accelerate the product development. So Seedling came into mind, and we had a lot of struggles to actually, with so many trademarks, we had to make SeedlingLabs as one word, and finally got that approved. I still remember June 19th, when we both were actually in a temple. When we just met for something, and we were in a temple, just about to get to the temple, and I get an SMS that, okay, your company is approved. So we were
Wow.
very, very happy and excited. So we still believe, we both go to that temple whenever I visit. We just, there are small things I believe in, and thankfully my co-founder also believes in. So we like, okay, this was just so special that when we were just going there, it happened. So he always found that place very special for him. So we were very glad that all of that happened when we were in the moment there. So that's how SeedlingLabs is born, Anshuman. And the way you would look at seed being so small and staying, humble and rooted, but the massiveness of growth you can see in a seed. And that's what we are envisioning for SeedlingLabs. So last 6 months journey has been so exciting. But I think this is my lens, but I would love to hear from Suribabu sir. He's been in the journey, in the thick and thin of the, all the ups and downs in the last 6 months. But one thing is, every day feels so right. Every day feels so right. So would love to hear from him that, how his 6 months journey with me and SeedlingLabs has been.
Totally.
You be settled in Bangalore and accepted to work in Gangavathi. On behalf of all Gangavathi people, thank you so much. ಒಬ್ಬ ರೈತನ ಮಗನಾಗಿ ಗಂಗಾವತಿ ಭಾಗದಿಂದ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮಾರು 20 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದು, ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಕೇವಲ ನಾವು ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಸರಿಯಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ವಿದ್ಯೆ ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಉದ್ಯಮಿಯನ್ನಾಗಿ ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನು ಅನ್ನುವ ಒಂದು ದೃಢ ಸಂಕಲ್ಪದಿಂದ ನರ್ಸರಿ ಟು ನೌಕರಿ, ಸೊ ಆ ಭಾಗದ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಕೇವಲ ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಮತ್ತು ರ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಲಾರ್ದಂಗೆ ಒಂದು ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಮಗುವಿಗೆ ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಆ ನಿಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ದೃಢ ಸಂಕಲ್ಪ ಏನಿತ್ತು ನರ್ಸರಿ ಟು ನೌಕರಿ ಅಂದರೆ, ನರ್ಸರಿ ಟು ನೌಕರಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಕೇವಲ ನೌಕರಿ ಕೊಡೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ಭಾಗದ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ವಿದ್ಯಾಭ್ಯಾಸ ಮುಗಿಸಿದ ನಂತರ ಉದ್ಯೋಗಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಈ ರೀತಿ ನಗರಗಳಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಂದಿರಿಗೂ ದೂರ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು. ಸೊ ಆ ಭಾಗದ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಜಾಬ್ ಮಾಡುವ ಪ್ಲಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮನ್ನು ನಾವು ಒದಗಿಸ್ಬೇಕು. ಜಾಗತಿಕ ಮಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಇವಾಗ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಆ ಒಂದು ಸೌಲಭ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಒದಗಿಸ್ಬೇಕನ್ನುವ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಆಲೋಚನೆಗೆ ನೀವು ಕೈ ಜೋಡಿಸಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್. ಸೊ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ನನ್ನ ಕನ್ಸರ್ನ್ ಇರೋದು ಗರ್ಲ್ಸ್ಗೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ಮಹಿಳೆಯರಿಗೆ. ಸೊ ಭಾಳಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಗರ್ಲ್ಸ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಸೊ ಮದುವೆ ಆದ ನಂತರ ಅವರು ಡಿಸ್ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಿ ಒಳ್ಳೊಳ್ಳೆ ಜಾಬ್ನಲ್ಲಿದ್ದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಮನೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಪರಿಮಿತರಾಗ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಆಗ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು. ಸೊ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ಕೂಡ ಉದ್ಯೋಗವನ್ನು ಪಡಿಬೇಕು. ಆ ಉದ್ಯೋಗವನ್ನು ಪ್ರತಿ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಕೇವಲ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣವನ್ನು ಒದಗಿಸೋದು ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಉದ್ಯೋಗಾವಕಾಶಗಳನ್ನು ಕಲ್ಪಿಸಿಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಈಗೆಲ್ಲ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ಆ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಆ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಆ ಬ್ರಿಡ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡುವ ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಕ್ಕೆ ಸೊ ನೀವು ಕೈ ಜೋಡಿಸಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ತುಂಬ ಹೃದಯದ ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗಿಯೂ ಕೂಡ ಮುಂದಿನ ದಿನಮಾನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಭಯ ಇದೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಇದೆ, ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟ್ ಸಿಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಕಂಪನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಸರಿಯಲ್ಲ. ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಸುಮಾರು ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟ್ ಆ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಏನೂ ಕೊರತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಡೆಲಿವರಿ ಸೆಂಟರನ್ನ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳು, ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು, ಆ ಕೌಶಲ್ಯ ಹೊಂದಿದ್ದ ಅಭ್ಯರ್ಥಿಗಳು ನಮಗೆ ಸಿಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂಥೇಳಿ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದೀನಿ. 2006ರಲ್ಲಿ ಶ್ರೀರಾಮನಗರದಲ್ಲಿ, ಗಂಗಾವತಿ ತಾಲೂಕಿನ ಶ್ರೀರಾಮನಗರದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಆದಂಥ ಶ್ರೀ ವಿದ್ಯಾನಿಕೇತನ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಭವಿಷ್ಯದ ಸವಾಲುಗಳನ್ನು ಆತ್ಮಸ್ಥೈರ್ಯದಿಂದ ಎದುರಿಸಬಲ್ಲ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿಯುತ ಭಾವಿ ಪೌರರನ್ನು ರೂಪಿಸಬೇಕು. ಸ್ವಾವಲಂಬಿ ಮನೋಭಾವದ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ಒಂದು ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿಯುತ ಮನೋಭಾವ ಅವರು ಹೊಂದಿರಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವ ನಿಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನರ್ಸರಿಯಿಂದ ನೌಕರಿವರೆಗೆ ಅನ್ನುವ ಒಂದು ದೃಢ ಸಂಕಲ್ಪದಿಂದ ನಾವೇನು ವಿದ್ಯಾಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ನಡೆಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇವತ್ತು ನೀವು IT ರಂಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಅತ್ಯುನ್ನತ ಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಆ ನರ್ಸರಿಯಿಂದ ನೌಕರಿವರೆಗೆ ಅನ್ನುವ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಕಲ್ಪನೆಗೆ ತಾವು ಕೈ ಜೋಡಿಸಿ ನಿಮ್ಮದೇ ಆದಂಥ ಕನಸನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ಗಂಗಾವತಿ ತಾಲೂಕಿನ ನಮ್ಮ ಹೊಡ್ರಟ್ಟಿ ಗ್ರಾಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ನ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಕಂಪ್ನಿ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಕೈ ಜೋಡಿಸಿದ್ದು ನಿಜವಾಗಲೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ತಿಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing that inspiring vision that you had, which I think, in some ways translated into SeedlingLabs. And I feel like it's an amazing intersection of academia, technology, and industry, with something that's kind of revolutionizing everything, which is AI, right? And I think it takes a lot of courage and also years of hard work that you have kind of, put into this particular new project, which we can all cherish as SeedlingLabs. So thank you for sharing with us that vision. And we hope that we can really kind of create the scale to come and really give back to the community the way you have imagined. So that's something on us. But let us just unpack SeedlingLabs a little more now, right? That vision and that particular initiation that we just heard from both of you has now become into a company, right? We are in the, SeedlingLabs Bangalore campus, and we'll soon be doing this from the Gangavathi campus very soon. And it's actually in the making. I think in the next, a few months, we'll probably be doing this from there. So really looking forward to that. But Shanti, tell us about where you started and where we are today, right? I mean, we all kind of just came from a very, very, amazing discussion on how we have, shaped in the last, 6 months or maybe more. But tell us, what could everyone, in this particular podcast who are listening to us, look at SeedlingLabs, where we stand, what have we done so far, how are we kind of organizing efforts, and what are some of the milestones that you are looking at in terms of, getting this vision into reality.
Awesome. You've been part of the last 4 months, so I'm going to come back to you. But last 6 months has been very, very exciting, right? It's not been easy, but it's been very, very exciting. Every day feels right. Every day doubles up. My energy doubles up doing these things. So that's the positive side of it. So late June, we've registered the company, and July, I've built this company on interns. So July, through friends, I've got some of the contacts, and I'm like, I called BITS Pilani coordinator, and I said, we didn't had an office. We just had a on paper company registered. So I had my thoughts all over the place, and then we were like, okay, let's first get bunch of interns. And I start an interview process. One day, they've sent bunch of profiles. So it was me screening all the profiles, putting together a process, used a lot of AI to actually I have to thank AI. Of course, we are an AI company, so a fundamental is all that, right? So if I had to do this company a decade back or a couple of years back, I don't think I would have done this fast, right? Absolutely not possible. So what made me do all this is I was able to quickly create an assessment. Of course, all of this is how well you talk to AI, and we'll come to that. But putting that together, putting interview process, whole day of interviews, and I bring 7-8 interns on board, and we start remote. Every day I go back to probably 10 years back. I used to drive like stand-ups as an engineering manager. So I go back to what I was doing, and then I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Started with daily stand-ups, look at a training plan, took an Udemy account and all other accounts that's possible for bringing interns up to speed. I was so ambitious that first 3 months I was like, we're going to build one of the product offering that I had in mind. I wanted to get these interns, as soon as possible. And I also hired, one of the engineering leaders that I worked with in the past, and she came on board after, I think she came on board only late August, but I worked with these interns alone. I didn't have any team. So me and interns had an amazing time for like 4 to 5 weeks learning and, working with each other. August 8th, 100th day, exactly 100th day, we have done puja and opened this office. And we come to office on August 8th for the puja, and sir is like, one thing, today is 100th day. So this was not planned. And when we had our first meeting, when he came to Bangalore, when we decided to actually do SeedlingLabs, we said, okay, let's take 100 days to launch the company. And then we had the office on 100th day. We felt like magical. And rest is history. From there, interns have built our orchard offering today. We have a, very, very excited and proud to say that we have our first paid customer on it.
Wow.
And then, we have other that we are doing. So our Gangavathi office, trust me, it's a world-class delivery center, better than a lot of offices I worked in Bangalore. And this team is also excited. I'm worried this team is probably more excited to work in Gangavathi than this office. So that's how the delivery center is being planned and shaping up today. So August to now, I think we have shaped Orchard really well, and we have a paying customer, but we're also looking at another offering on the edutech space, which is also at a V0 shape right now. We are, envisioning a lot around it, especially for scaling Gangavathi office. We have one of the offerings that we will be dedicatedly having a team and working on it. Of course, we're going to scale a lot of delivery there, and that's our vision, right? We would definitely want to, build talents ground up there, and we've already started. So one of the things we have done is we have taken 5 interns from Gangavathi College, third zone college, BCA interns. They've finished their training. They're already contributing to one of our product offering. And we're going to double down on that. Double down on intern strategy, but also double down on hiring people from Gangavathi and start scaling from there. So we've taken the first step for Nursery to Naukri. I think more to come there, but that's been amazing. So there is also, beyond these two, Orchard and Sprout. Sprout is on the edutech space. We also have a R&D team, which is called AI Labs. That's where we have our, PDAS, product development as a service, where we have our workbench that's being built today that solves real world problems. And we work with, we are of course narrowing down on domains and, verticals that we would focus on going forward. But today we are talking to a couple of people, a lot of my friends, thanks to them for, taking a leap of faith on me to work with me to solve some of their problems. So we've been very engaged in having those discussions and solving that through the workbench. So these 3 verticals and 3 teams are super engaged, and we've been working very, very closely to learn from some of the companies and customers. So,
and I think, you talked about starting up, and also, coming to this startup, phase of life after spending 20 plus years. And when I started to kind of come out and do things on my own, it was something that I had probably never thought of, because when I moved out of the corporate world, staying in one company, I always felt like it's difficult to kind of go and associate again with one company, and that's where I tried to kind of branch out and do different things. And I feel like the vision that when you shared, it was so fascinating. And also with what we were seeing in the AI space, right? From this whole hype, the phase of hype that AI kind of was into, to this particular phase of accountability, right? And today when we go and talk to customers or partners, I think that's the one key theme that we kind of hear is, how do you make sure that things really work with AI the way it should complement to what we are doing, which is different from, hey, we can do endless things with AI. And I think that's the kind of realization, at least I had very early, having spoken with you, and the way at least you were thinking of very clear kind of themes that we want to really go after, which is kind of now becoming Orchard, AI Labs and Sprout, and all three are really, really focused narrowly. How do you see this particular space kind of grow as you think of the kind of discovery phase with AI Labs? When we go to customers, they have very unique kind of problem statements. And what's your vision of really taking this AI Labs to the next phase of growth?
Yeah, I think again I'll go back to how the learnings have been in the last 6 months, right? I felt I always want like speed, right? That's how my style has been in terms of how we operate. But I also learned through the way that you have to go slow to actually go fast, right? I think that's been a learning, and last 6 months has taught us a lot of things around that. So with respect to how things have been, right, we see so much in the media. Like when I just scroll LinkedIn today, I see people talking about AI solving really big problems. Like, hey, I was able to build this in 2 days. I was, everybody's vibe coding, right? And when I've looked at the evolution, it's exactly the way a human needs would evolve, right? If I have to theme it around, it's very, very similar to Maslow's hierarchy, where you have your fundamental needs of food, shelter, and all of that, which is like your LLMs. And then you have your tools that's bringing that efficiency I was talking about, and then you have this vibe coding, right? But then the opportunity we spoke about is beyond vibe coding. Like there are a lot of tools, and I take credits and use vibe coding platforms, and initially that's how there is no denial that there is a power of all these levels that's bringing a lot of velocity. And actually, if a couple of years back, if you have to quickly take a real world problem and bring that to life, it was not possible, but today it's possible. But what happens if you have to deliver that to a real customer, scale it for millions of customers, right? That's not there. And that's where I think our workbench concept would help. But how I see these things evolve is today, at least the way we couple our vision, it's human in the loop is very essential to build that trust. And every offering that we work on today, essential element is human in the loop. And in fact, the humanized approach that I always wanted in my leadership and when I took on leadership roles applies exactly how we shape our offerings today, right? And I strongly believe in that. When I say human in the loop, it's building the trust. When I say partnership model, so for example, I said we have a paid customer. We didn't get the paid customer so easily, right? We first went into a POC mode. We said we go to meet leaders who have these problems that we can help partner and solve. We don't really go and look at, hey, I have something like this to solve for you, but rather be into the partnership mode, like moving from that outsourcing mindset to actually a partnership model where you're picking up a problem and you're trying to show the value. You're trying to really solve it for the good. And then, after that, the rest of the things that we are seeing happening is going to happen. So it's the same thing with AI. I think you need to believe the power of it, but at the same time, you need to augment it where you think, right? Human in the loop is essential. So that's been very helpful and successful for us, but a lot more to come in the future. So we'll have to see. I'm very excited, what AI can do. And I'm in the other part of this thing, believing that AI really is going to evolve, but you have to always use it in the right way and always keep the human loop and human value in the center to make this really work well for us.
Awesome. So let's shift to Suribabu sir again. One thing that I definitely feel that you bring, every time I see you is this energy and inspiration. And I'm sure you had this when you started, the first project, ever in your career. And we feel that because, we are just kind of getting into this, startup kind of environment. Having been in companies for more than 2 decades, I think we can see that energy coming to us when we come here. How have you been able to keep that energy for so many years, and where do you get that energy? Whenever we come to you, you are full of energy, you are always smiling, I mean, you're like, hey, let's keep moving. So how do you get that energy, sir? From where do you get that energy?
That all energy comes from the trust the people kept on me. See, in 2006 I started a school. 2006ರಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ. In one village I started a school. My district, Koppal district, recognized as a educationally backward district. So I don't have any educational background on that time. I'm a farmer son. I was a farmer. Later I started a rice business. With that background I started a school. Society supported me like anything. The parents, with 230 students, I started a school. After 19 years, Sri Vidyaniketan. Now we have one CBSE school, one ICSE school, 4 PU colleges, and 1 degree college. At present, we have 9,000 students and 1,000 teaching and non-teaching staff. Students from around 25 districts of Karnataka. So, ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ನನ್ನ ಮೇಲೆ ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ವಿಶ್ವಾಸ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆ ನಂಬಿಕೆ ವಿಶ್ವಾಸದಿಂದ ಅವರಿಟ್ಟಂಥ ನಂಬಿಕೆಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಮೋಸ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸರ್ವಸ್ವ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನು ವಿದ್ಯಾನಿಕೇತನಿಗೆ ಸೇರಿಸಿ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು ಇಷ್ಟು ಎತ್ತರಕ್ಕೆ ಬೆಳೆಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ನಂಬಿಕೆ ವಿಶ್ವಾಸದಿಂದ ದಟ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್. ಸೊ ಆ ನಂಬಿಕೆ ವಿಶ್ವಾಸಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಋಣ ತೀರಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಹೌ ಐ ಗಿವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ದಿ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ. ಸೊ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ಎನಫ್. 10th standard and 12th standard, producing doctors, getting seats in MBBS and engineering enough. So giving degrees enough. ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲ ಪಾಲಕರ ಮತ್ತು ಸಮಾಜದ ಋಣ ತೀರಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೇನೇ ಮಾಡಿದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅದೇ ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಇಷ್ಟು ಎತ್ತರಕ್ಕೆ ಬೆಳೆಸಿದ್ದಂಥ ಆ ಗಂಗಾವತಿ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ ಏನಿದೆ, ಸೊ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಗಿವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ದಿ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ ಬೈ ಡೆವಲಪಿಂಗ್, ಎಂಪವರಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ಯೂತ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವುಮೆನ್. ಆ ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಸೊ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಭಾಳಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈಗಾಗಲೇ AI ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲಿ, ಆ ಒಂದು ರಂಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು, ಹೈದ್ರಾಬಾದ್, ಪುಣೆ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಇದ್ದಂಥ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಸಿಟೀಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಈ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳು ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದು. ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಪ್ರಯಾಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಶಾಂತಿ ಅವರ ಪರಿಚಯ, ಅವರ ಒಂದು ವಿಷನ್, AI ನೇಟಿವ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಅವರಿಗಿದ್ದಂಥ ಹ್ಯೂಜ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಜರ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ IT ಫೀಲ್ಡ್, ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಕೈ ಜೋಡಿಸಿ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಮೊದಲನೇ ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ IT ಕಂಪ್ನಿ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೂ ಅವಕಾಶ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗಿ ಮುಂದಿನ ದಿನಮಾನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ, ಉತ್ತರ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಯುವ ಜನಾಂಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸೀಡ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ಸ್ ಒಂದು ಅತ್ಯುನ್ನತ ಅವಕಾಶಗಳನ್ನು ಕಲ್ಪಿಸುವ ನಿಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನಾನು ತುಂಬ ವಿಶ್ವಾಸದಿಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಸರ್.
Thank you, sir. So humbling always to hear your perspective and your own personal story. Thank you for sharing that with us. Shanti, we are also meeting a lot of customers and a lot of leaders in the ecosystem. I have my own point of view, which maybe I'll share a little. But what are you kind of hearing from leaders in the ecosystem, and some of the leaders who are mentoring you? I know some very, very profound leaders who have kind of shown interest and are kind of leaning in to help. What are you learning from these conversations, and how is it kind of coming back to our strategy?
Yeah. No, I think first of all, thanks to many leaders who have spent time in the last few months that helped us significantly in how we shaped our offerings. I think when we meet leaders, there is two different diverse thoughts, right? Like people who feel AI is a key part of every product they build, every a strategy discussion. And there is the other part of it where AI is just an augmentation, that brings efficiency, or experimenting with AI on a couple of things to see the real impact, right? But overall, with the data that also says, and also the experience so far is, AI is everywhere, but the real impact is yet to be seen, right? AI is really good in creating things from scratch, and when there is a lot of context to learn and there is legacy platforms that needs problems to be solved, maybe quality, maybe upgrading the tech stack, is AI there? Not yet, right? So I think that's where the problem space that we have kind of looked at, long way to go there. That's where our AI labs will focus on solving, picking up real world problems and solving some of those in real time, partnering with customers to be able to prototype and get to optimal way of human plus AI coming together to solve some of these. It's very important for us to first start believing in and understanding the problem really well, and having human in the loop, and having that mindset that AI needs to be used, but it needs to be used in the right way. Because augmentation versus replacement is a conversation, and if you look at different sections of people, there is also people who are worried, people who are scared, and it's a continued conversation, right, for everybody to see the real impact, believing that there will be real impact, but we have to get there. But human in the loop is always going to be very critical for the partnership and trust. That's been significant learning for us, and we are really embedding that into our strategy and any offering that we build today. You've been with me so closely, and I think I can't thank you enough for the kind of partnership we had in the last 4 or 5 months of our journey. Sometimes it feels, oh, it's already 6 months, but sometimes it also feels, is it only 6 months? So, but how have your journey been, Anshuman? And 4 months? Oh man, what a journey it is every single day. So how do you see this in the last 4 months of building SeedlingLabs with me?
Wow, I think, I remember a leader who actually talked about you a little, saying it's very difficult to say no to Shanti, and I experienced it firsthand. But I think it was, I don't know, it was probably something was kind of, coming together in terms of, our thinking and, the timing of the conversations we had. And also, I feel like, just extending what you shared earlier around AI, right? The whole theme of, from moving away from possibilities to performance. I think, SeedlingLabs, kind of when we started talking about, I said, hey, here is a company that really can actually make that happen, right? We have been talking about, this whole amazing opportunity that AI has given to us, kind of leveling the playing field, but still there is so much more to do, right? And some of the leaders that at least, I have been talking to, the kind of themes that they were talking about, and I can start seeing that kind of, so closely now, thanks to the partnership we had and the SeedlingLabs kind of journey. For example, people talk about, hey, what can AI do, or where is AI today in terms of being real for enterprises, being real for customers? And I see 3 key themes there. One which we talk about on a daily basis is the Agentic AI, like almost becoming like a teammate, AI becoming a teammate. And there are several, kind of versions of that, whether it is, AI as an assistant, a co-pilot, or a buddy. But I think that is one particular, definitely interest area that I hear from a lot of leaders, and I can see that kind of shaping very well. The second one, which I think, I'm so glad that we are doing it at SeedlingLabs, is this whole concept of vertical AI, so to say, right? Almost a shift from LLMs to SLMs, right? The small, learning models that kind of we can create, which is what we have done with the 3 verticals and with the AI labs kind of theme. And the last one, which I feel is so, kind of sometimes gets so underrated, but it is so important, is I think the contextual intelligence, right? Which we need to have as a company, where you kind of get so close to every aspect of the business, every aspect of the customer, every aspect of interactions, and really train AI to become as good as one of us. And of course, there is a human intelligence required, but I think it's still kind of something very, very far-fetched. And I think that being together in this journey, I have experienced a very different version of AI that we can actually shape together. And I'm so glad that we kind of came together, and looking at the team kind of coming together, more hands joining in, and sir being so very, very encouraging of everything that we are doing. We were together for that road trip to Gangavathi recently, to Bellary, and hearing from so many leaders and seeing how this can really reshape things for everyone. The whole theme of democratizing access to talent for everyone, right? They can think of what they can do, and they can do it from anywhere. They don't have to leave their homes to come and work for a company like SeedlingLabs. We can work with them where they are, and I think that's a very, very different version of I think leadership in all kind of extent that we can think of. And I'm so glad that I am part of that particular journey, and seeing it unfold the way it is unfolding is very heartening. But there are so many people out there who are listening to this podcast, Shanti, and I want to kind of ask you this particular question of, hey, if someone is thinking of this idea of starting up, what are your top 2-3 lessons that you can share with them, which can help them at least kind of move forward in that journey?
Sure. I think before I get there, I want to thank sir. I think thanks to you for being part of the journey. Thank you, sir, for being part of this journey. I think you fuel the whole opportunity that I was thinking about. It gave me the courage to leave, being in a corporate sector and start this. So thank you so much. And like I said, right, every day feels right only if you are really doing something right. So I'm glad that we are able to do this. I know it's a hard problem we have at hand, but I'm all excited to make this work for us, especially our Gangavathi office coming up in 2 months, and I can't wait to see the impact. So for anybody who is looking at starting a company, I'm just 6 months old as a founder, but trust me, you have to dream big. I think just not about starting the company, anything that you want to do, you will have to have that leap of faith. You have to really dream big. I think that's the starting point, right, for anybody to pick up and believe in yourself. So I keep saying this, right? Everything happens twice in your life. And I have seen exactly that in a lot of things I've picked up, right? It starts here. You dream and you keep thinking about it, right? My first car happened when I was thinking about it, and then start looking at videos of that and keep manifesting that. And then it happens in execution, right? So the second thing is when you take up something like this big, or you have something to start on your own, you are absolutely okay to take any type of help that you would need. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to sir. Thanks to Anshuman for believing in me and partnering with me in this journey. It's a difficult one that we need to crack, but you know what, I'm super excited. So take help. Sometimes when we take help, we feel that asking for help is something that we take time to actually ask for help. Please ask for help. And not just starting this company, but last 20 years of my career, I felt when I started asking for help, when I started delegating things that I think I can't do, and I can pick up the most important thing at hand, things started working for me. So please take help. The third thing is, I come from a tier 2 city called Kurnool, and if I can do this, anybody can do this. You have to stay humble, and you have to stay rooted. But please, staying humble helps you grow so massive. I've seen this with many people, and I've learned it from many people. I've learned it from my dad. So I've seen this in this man now. I've seen with many of you around me. So thanks for all of that. But like Seedling says, stay humble, stay rooted, but grow massive. That's what the seed says at Seedling Labs. So looking forward to this journey, and I can't wait to see the impact.
Thank you, Suribabu sir, and thank you, Shanti. What an amazing conversation. I'm sure a lot of folks would take this as an inspiration of taking the leap of faith and also staying close to what they have really kind of identified as a passion, as a mission for their lives. So hopefully we can have more such startups starting up eventually. Folks, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for staying through this particular conversation. We are excited with what we are seeing and what we are learning every day. And as I shared earlier, we'll keep having these conversations with different leaders from the ecosystem. And again, if you have thoughts, comments, feedback for us, please share it with us. And who knows, maybe we'll have a particular version of this podcast completely dedicated to one of your ideas. How would that look? And we'll definitely give you the credit for that. So thank you for tuning in. And, as Shanti said, stay humble and keep thinking massive. Have a good time and good luck.